country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't trying to sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't trying to sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
Okay, firstly, I gotta address apologetics. It doesn't make sense, I'm not sorry, I don't get it. The fact that he was crucified means that we're all indebted. We should demand to have a culture that doesn't soon forget it. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess it. Christ is king, listen up, get the message. The time is short, the deception is impressive. The church itself is corrupted and wretched. They preach about grace, no righteousness expected. God gaze at the pulpit because the sin is accepted. The devil calls, they don't even try to reject it. They're employed by Satan, they are tax exempted.
Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't trying to sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't trying to sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell
It's
it.
neither land of the free, nor is it home of the brave. When you got people here killing babies every day, and all the Christians here think that they can get away if they throw a couple bucks into the bucket on Sunday. But I don't think
What
that's the way it works.
is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Main Character Podcast. Level 42. Made possible by the Cult of Con. That's you guys. I am Con Man, and thank you for being here. Wow. It's great to be back, guys. It's actually been, what? 2 weeks now since I've actually been live. Crazy to think about that. I mean, in terms of the Main Character show, right? As you guys know, last week I was gone on my vacation, and so obviously it's great to be back. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today, and we'll talk about that. But let's go ahead and go take our little annual, or I guess it's weekly now, right? It's our weekly trip to Shilltown. And as you guys know, population Shilltown. I'm the mayor of Shilltown. I was elected mayor. Welcome to the Cult of Con. Guys, we hit 1.8k subscribers today. I saw it at 1799. We rolled over 1800. We are moving into the modern age on the timeline. Yeah, anyway, we are here on the Cult of Con at youtube.com. The Cult of Con, you know, all that good stuff for those of you guys who are listening on an audio. But welcome everyone, and if you guys are at all interested in supporting the channel, as you guys know, we have a Patreon here at patreon.com/thecultofcon. So if you feel so compelled to financially support the channel, we greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate you, and we will thank you very much for your support, as well as give you the opportunity to check out some members-only stuff. This particular video is an old one from the channel called Exodus 2. And that is actually available for all members. We do actually have a free tier. So feel free to pop on over there and join the community. There is a chat group available for everybody. So if you want to get in there and we want to start waking things up, as the channel grows, it seems like that's what's going to happen. Like, people are going to communicate there a little bit more. So I'll probably be over there more often. And you guys will see more stuff coming out through there in the near future too. There's a lot of projects that are starting to wrap up that I'm going to be able to share some stuff with you about in the very near future. So feel free to pop on over there, and if for some reason you feel like you want to get something back out of your support, aside from just watching this show and listening to me run my mouth, you can pop on over to the COC store, the Cult of Con Cox store, which has, you know, kind of like a variety of items from spring. I don't make these myself. I don't make a ton of money off of them, but it is a way for you guys to get merch if you're interested in this early phase of the channel's development, to get a hold of some, you know, merchandise and support the channel. So with all that being said, thank you guys for bearing with me on our annual, or whatever, I guess, weekly trip to Shilltown. I am the mayor of Shilltown. Thank you for being here. All right, cool. So obviously the first thing people in this community are probably thinking is like, yo, what is this guy doing? He's ripping off that other guy's motif. So here, let me tell you, this is a homage. This is an inspired podcast, inspired by the great work of JT from JT Follows JC, and he does a show called JT's Mixtape. And it's really awesome. You know, he and Brian from Demon Erasers react to videos that they see on the internet that they've curated of the crazy stuff that goes on. Anyway, there's a member of this community. His name is Arent. And I'll just go ahead and we're going to plug his Instagram tonight because he has been doing an amazing job of sending me amazing videos for months now. For weeks on end, he's been tagging me in like reels and stuff on Instagram and sharing with me just all kinds of interesting things that he's been curating during his doom scrolling hours on Instagram, which is something I can't really do. I just don't have time for it. So thank you, Aaron, for all of your contributions this evening. And hopefully we learn something interesting, and hopefully we don't get banned from the internet because it's going to be completely live and I have no idea. So before we get into that, let me just go ahead and say thank you to all of our supporters. I think that this is an up-to-date list, but you guys know who you are. I love you. Thank you for making this possible. With that being said, I'm going to go right into chat and start saying hi to you guys. And I want to say, I am like, I have the most ridiculous setup right now on OBS. There's like a million tabs. I have no idea if this is going to go off without a hitch. Like if it goes well, then the Lord is with me today, because it's like I'm so out of my element right now trying to make this like there's a different format, so we'll see if we can do it. But I'm just gonna start saying hi. Wow, you guys are just filling up the chat. It's getting busier and busier like crazy. Great to see you guys here. We've got Samantha Fox. Great to see you. So glad you're here. I feel like we're missing something, and I actually know what it is, but don't worry. Fear not. I have not forgotten. And I have it right here. So first of all, welcome everybody. Welcome back. Well, come on, don't be like that. There we go. It was delayed. It probably needs maintenance like everything else in my life. We got the Eyes for Truth. Welcome in, my friend. We've got Wendy saying smash that like. Wendy is always the faithful supporter and moderator. Great to have you here, Wendy. Always an honor. We've got Adrienne. She's got 2 honorary geese. That's the honk honk, the double geese. Maybe we should have like a cryptic artwork or something where it's like a shirt with 2 geese on it. I feel like that would be awesome. It could be in the style of the griffin, like little geese. That'd be awesome. The Eyes for Truth says, hump day, smash the like. Yeah, this is great. The community just tells itself to like the video. I don't even have to chill for it. Eyes for Truth says, got a headache earlier. I'll take 65 to 70 every day. Oh, okay. Eyes for Truth is Aaron. Let's go. All right. Cool. All right. We got Val. Welcome aboard, Val, to the Party Blimp. I don't have my Awuga horn set up. I don't even know if I could get it back in time. Oh, maybe. No. I don't remember what page it was on. Sorry about that. We'll get a Awuga one back another time. Yo, what's going on here? Okay. See, I knew it was going to be a little weird. I knew I was going to be having some form of technical difficulty. It's all good, as long as you guys don't see it. What's up, Mad Pax? Welcome in, my friend. We got Cody. Honorary honk honk. The gang is pouring in. We got everybody here. All of our regulars anyway. We got Daddy Skip. Welcome in, Daddy Skip. Good to see you. I'm going to try to catch up. We got Allison. I know she was saying she was ready for some craziness tonight. She wanted some positive activity, so we're certainly going to keep it positive, or at least try to. I have no idea what some of this stuff's going to be, so I'll have to see if it triggers me or not. All right, we got Cage Fighter. Welcome in. All right, we're almost caught up. We got Elizabeth, Rejoice Artworks. Welcome in. We got Pearl. We got Pepe Sylvia. It's nice to see you guys here. We got Mama Khan. Good to see you, Mama. Saved by Jesus, Nancy. Good to see you, Nancy. Amelia, welcome. We got Susie. Everybody's here. We got Shawnee B. Let's go. Yo, I'm just making sure I get everybody. I want to make sure I'm getting all you early birds, right? For being here. Welcome in, Brother Miles. Good to see you. Wendy's just spamming. Smash that like button. Let's go. All right. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are here. This should be interesting, to say the least. I have no idea what we're really in for at all. I did not screen anything I did screen one thing because I didn't know what it was going to be, but I'm just going to roll with it, and we're just going to, we'll do the disclaimer, and then we'll hit the button. And I've got a unique overlay for us that'll let you guys be visible in chat and the video, and so you guys will be reacting in real time as well. I think, or it'll be mildly delayed, but it'll be in such a way that watching it, you'll then see within like 10 seconds what everyone thinks about what you just saw, so you don't have to get distracted when you're watching it on playback. Should be perfect, you know, just because that's just the hope is that it works out. We'll see if it doesn't crash and burn. Welcome in, Indigo. Good to see ya. We got Jenny Murphy, Tartarian Prepper. Welcome in. Lucas Williams. He deleted his message, but hey, my friend, welcome in. It's good to see you guys. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm trying my best to roll it and not miss everybody. I saw Naomi. I know I saw Peter Hamlet. Let's go. We got Phil, 1476. Waiting for the King of Kings. Savvy R. We got everybody. I'm going to give you guys all this customary honorary honk honk. I think Stacy Sella. Is that everyone? Blake Higgins. Okay, yeah, we're getting busy. It's a busy party bus tonight. All right. A full bus. That's what I like to see. All right, guys. Let me see if my screen share screen is not completely just jacked. We gotta test the market here. That's not it. Oh yeah. All right. So we should be at this point up to date, if I'm not mistaken. And the the thing. Oh, thanks, Wendy. She's like, fair use. Okay. It should be stated for the record. Let me move this a little bit. It should be stated for the record that this episode is being performed under fair use conditions. The videos and audios being featured in this episode are being shared for the purpose of entertainment, commentary, education, and is not intended to profit or in any way generate any kind of marketing or ad space. And this is literally just done in good faith, in fair use. And with that being said, hopefully they don't take this down. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off with this video. And we're going back to like, I think it's like, this looks like it was sent some time ago from Aaron. So we're going to kick it off with this one right here. I don't know. Okay, hold on. We're already on it. I'm already screwing it up. Give me 1 second here. Let me just try to reopen it because I think it didn't start at the beginning. No. Okay. This is going to be a little bit interesting. Bear with me, guys. I'm doing my best. This is a new format.
Now she hung to the Nalo, told him about the young one. That when one of she did it. So, two out of my blouse, and did on my cheese, so I wrote. So, on with you, she hung to the poor widow, my original song. Well, the other Dialio, that's only for a little young.
This is just the beginning, he says. So they're essentially like, I guess, digging up this ancient ruin that's completely buried underground. And this says, in this intriguing video, we unveil a recently discovered temple in Myanmar's PU ancient cities, almost entirely buried beneath the earth until a recent earthquake exposed its hidden ruins. This revelation adds compelling evidence to the mud flood theory, igniting curiosity and debate among locals and archaeologists on the spot. What secrets does this buried structure hold about our past? I'll let it finish. We don't really need that audio of everybody freaking out. It's just them yelling about stuff. Obviously, they're very excited.
No.
Oh, careful, buddy. All right, what is it?
Oh, Sim. Hi. Stop, bye. Talk, check on you. Oh, hold it. What? Đó rồi đã nguyên bao bộ nó, nguyên bao bộ. Đi ra bộ. Tắt đi ra để nguyên bao bộ. Hai người cái.
Okay, well, record it, bro. Why'd you walk away? Go over there. I wanted to see what that was. Okay, all right, we looking? Okay.
Thế thế đó. Ra lại. Đi mà có nguyên bao, ô mà có lẽ nguyên bao là thoát bao làm gì, tôi thoát về phía đó.
You have to be willing to listen to what this guy's saying and or read what he's saying, because this camera guy seems more fixated on the guy talking and less on the actual ruins. But it's okay. Not everyone can be taught on how to be a cameraman. You know what I mean? Like, what we want to see is the ruins, bro. I want to see the buried stuff. But yeah, it sounds like these guys are, according to what we're looking at, there are some archaeologists in Myanmar, and they found a temple buried underground. It's just one of those things. It's probably, the commentary on it is probably something like, we had, you know, a history of buildings buried underground, like in every region around the world. And it kind of like, you know, my whole life was taught to me that the buried buildings were like a product of, you know, like, well, over time, stuff eventually just becomes buried under like feet of debris. And I'm sure by now you guys probably know that's not the case. Like, stuff doesn't just get buried if you leave it there. And I've seen stuff abandoned for like 30 to 50 years, covered in grass and moss and stuff, but it's not buried. There's no way. I mean, you'd have to have crazy, like, whatever, I guess they call them mud floods in that instance. But either way, I mean, you guys have seen, like, flash flooding and stuff. Like, it would require some pretty significant earth moving to bury some giant stone palace of the sort. So, we'll move on to the next one here. This says, liberal woman dares Elon Musk to come face to face with her. Okay, here we go. We'll see what we're getting on this one. Oh, she's talking. Oh, shoot. I'm missing it. Come on, no. Restart. Okay, one second. I'm trying to figure out how to get this to restart. Oh, it's going to happen this time.
Dear Elon, I thought you'd want to come face to face with me, boy. You're your boyfriend, no doubt. Lies. Oh, and I'd see right through them, and you know I would. Would it be a dream come true if you met me in person? Would it?
Holy shit. Fucking hell is real. Demons do exist. I don't think he wants to go face to face with her. I don't either. I don't think anybody does. That's one scary motherfucking demon right there. Holy shit. Hell yeah.
Okay, sorry about the profanity warning. I didn't know he was gonna go off on a tirade, but I think what he said was like better than anything I could say. Demons do exist. Holy shit. Look at her. I love the freeze frame. It's perfect. Imagine you were married to that lady. Imagine you had to come home from a long day of work and she started going off on some kind of tirade. I'm like, you'd like to come face to face with me? I'll tell you when I don't know. Oh, wow. Definitely freaky. That is a disturbing one for sure. Let's keep going. Let's see what else we got here. Everything's fake, including this. Let's see.
You know, that's like light as a feather.
Right,
but
right.
There's like that thing in our world to where, you know, you'll notice like an empty coffee cup and someone's just like, man, it looks fake. Or they pick up a big bag of like $10 million and they just carry it like nothing.
Right.
So we want some like actual weight in. So these 80s are like actually like 15s.
Really? Let me see. Oh, shit. Oh, god damn.
So you get a little bit of struggle. They're real popular with like the TikTok like fitness influencers.
Shut the fuck. Are
you serious?
Yeah. Everything's fake.
Nothing's real.
Everything's fake. So this is what I have at home, to be honest. Oh.
These are what I have at home, to be honest. Yeah, interesting. So it's just an insight, right? So they make these props, whoever this is just sharing some props. But like, dude, I know. Like, there's so much to say about how fake everything is on the internet. Like, at this time, it's like everything you see is so polished and honed and in some cases completely fake. You know, I saw a video the other day and a friend of mine brought it up and I had actually seen it circulating, and it was this video of like a plane trying to like have an emergency landing, and they're like, the landing gear's out on the plane and some guy just took his truck out on the airfield, and it's like a Nissan commercial, like a commercial for Nissan trucks. And a lot of people, you know, thought that it was real. And I'm not like making fun of anyone for that, but it's just like, without the context, how could you know? Like, it was displayed on many shorts videos as just something that happened because the ad ran it like it was a news story. Like they were telling this story about how, oh, the Nissan, this random guy just came in, but the Nissan saved the day. And it's obviously, like I said, it's an ad for the truck because it's like, man, look at how tough the truck is. It's built so well, it can help a plane land or whatever. And it's like, obviously, that's not real. But the point I'm trying to make is that we start thinking that the line is way farther down than it is. Like, we start looking and be like, well, you know, that was a commercial for TV, so that was fake. But like, this guy that I follow, you know, he really is the guy who's like, you know, he was a, like, it gets to the point where you can't question, I mean, you can't believe anything without questioning it. Like, you get to the point where there's a lot of people who are, they stand to make money, right, from the popularity of their videos, and they will straight up just fake things for the purpose. Like, one of the most popular ones, I think, is those, like, perpetual motion machines videos. It'd be like springs rigged together on a thing and a guy will put it out and you can't see that there's like a crank off the thing, or he stored a bunch of energy in it before it started going, and so it's like, oh, perpetual energy, but it's not really. And people get so many views off of that kind of stuff. And this is, I guess, an example. They're real popular with the fitness influencers. There's guys like, yeah, pumping 15s and pretending they're 80. And I get it, like, if you were already muscular, people might believe that you're really that ripped. I could totally see that being the case. Let's see what else we got. Thank you again, Aaron, for sending all this stuff. Oh, this is probably like some... Okay, we're like, it's like we're going through phases. Like, they change in intensity each time.
I'll ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Hi, I'm Christine Ulm, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a real ID. Starting May 7th, you will need a real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States. These IDs keep our country safe because they help prevent fraud and they enhance security. Please do your part to protect our country. Go today and don't delay. To learn more, go to dhs.gov/real-id. Thank you.
Okay. Well, okay. So I read about this, and what it really is that Real ID is the fulfillment of something that was intended back during the early post 9/11 era. So there was this whole like push for higher security and stuff, and one of those things is that it was supposed to be included, right? It was supposed to be part of the way that they would track us and, you know, figure out what we were doing, and ultimately what that ended up being is, here we go, sorry, it's like my stuff in the background. Shout out. Okay, anyway, yeah, so I think that what we're dealing with is like the long game, right? Like they finally got the Real ID. So now they have the enhanced driver's license, which is like required to travel on domestic flights around the country. And it's amazing, honestly, just the fact that you can slowly go from a country where you're like constitutionally protected in your ability to travel to, well, you know, you have to have all this extra stuff. And the reason they want you to travel by a car as an alternative is because they want you to be able to be stopped by police, like at checkpoints and stuff. They want to, like, because they can make up any excuse they want. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, you're going to be tracked or whatever. It just makes it easier for them, you know. That's really what it is. When Trump was talking about this biometric entry exit visa tracking system, that was all the way back during, like, you know, the 2020 era, if you know what I mean. And that was one of those things that when I first heard him say that, I started to get really freaked out. Because even back then, I was still kind of a Trump supporter. I mean, up until, I guess, the 2020 election, when you saw through how fake the whole thing was. The whole, you know, we were just talking about how everything's so fake. And we saw how dumb that was. And then that whole thing went on. And that basically turned into, like, you know, basically just a giant destruction of anyone's rights. Like, there were no rights left at that point. The homie was actually worried about it, and I was like, I just renewed my driver's license, and I was like, it should be fine. I mean, it is what it is. And Aaron says that Christ is the king, the way, the truth, and the life, and I said, amen. All right, so now we're moving on. What is this thing? We got, what is a TikTok one? I wonder how this will pop up on here. Oh, okay, that might not work for me right now. Let's see. We've got some revelations, site revelations. Let's check it out.
Yo, bro, what did we find? What did we find? All these left, yo, bro, what is going on? What in the hell is this? Yo, bro, I don't know what to do.
This guy's freaking out.
The horseshoe magnet right there, the castle over there. Hold on. I can't even think straight. We just found some more. What the? Crystal stone in the ground. Like this is a goddamn stadium or some shit. Crystal. More crystal tank. Yo, bro. Nah. What's going on? What is happening? Water supply underneath this bitch got to be. Yo,
okay, this is kind of interesting.
Where are we at? We're in the center part. What is going on? She's alive. Yup. This area is alive. I knew it. I can feel it.
It's alive. This area is alive.
Yo, bro. They tried to cut this. Niggas do not know this part is back here. The magnet is right there. Like the shit in fridge. It's stonework. It's crystal work.
It's crystal work. Okay. I don't really know what we're getting at here, except for that I do think from the perspective of like the meltology type stuff, it is interesting that there's this whole, you know, there's the little amphitheater type rows with the seats or whatever, and then right in front of it is like this whole melted crystal structure thing. That's definitely an interesting one. I'm not sure what's going on exactly with that. Of course, the guy has to be yelling the whole time. I don't even know if that was just him freaking out about nothing. I don't know how. Maybe he had to be there, right? Maybe that's what it is. There's a JT video right there. Should we react to it? Then it's going to be a true inception. Let's do it.
Brian, what were fairies in the ancient mythologies?
Demons, bro. They're demons. There were always demons. You can look up the historical context of fairies. They were evil. They were wicked. They're Nephilim offspring, bro. They're angels hybridized with like small creatures and made some kind of weird, deformed little miniature demon thing that was terrorizing people. They kidnapped children. They kidnapped babies.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing about Peter Pan when you actually just think about what this movie's about. It's about this character who's got Pan in his name. Pan, the deity Pan, the goat demon Pan.
Yep.
And so before Peter Pan goes into these children's room, when their parents go to bed or parents go out for the night, he sends a little scout first. This little orb. This orb goes into the room to check it out. And Peter Pan is like literally like leering. He's at the roof, like looking, and he looks all sinister. He comes in the room, and then he takes the children who are in their pajamas out their house to this place called Never Neverland. They always say you don't grow up in Never Neverland. It's because you don't have a chance to grow up
because
there.
You die.
Yeah, because you're dead. So yeah, Peter Pan is evil. Hook is the good guy. in Peter Pan. Brian, what were...
Awesome. I mean, yeah, makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Like, clearly there's something demonic going on there. I think for the most part, it's like Brian said, it's like obvious they're demons. It's like some kind of a creature from another dimension, some sort of like how JT described it, like an orb. It comes in. Definitely an interesting thing. We've got an original song here from Arent. I think we'll play it since this is Arent's mixtape tonight. Like all credit is due to Arent. Let's have a little jam here. Let's go. Sorry, Arent, you're being put on the spot. Everyone's about to hear your song. I hope you're ready.
Follow me from the Sea of Galilee to the poor and least of these.
Ooh.
Prophet spoke of me, a king rides sitting on a donkey. No one has seen this melody.
I think it's great, bro.
I've come from the Father's own right hand, the spotless Lamb. I am who I am, the way, the truth, the life. Then just so with my sacrifice, singing as the serpent slave did, so was the Son of Man. Oh, Father, forgive them for piercing your hands. See the son of Jonah fall over the land. God's holy temple is raised again.
I'm knocking things down.
Faith like mustard seeds, you know you must believe in me. Rejected by my own, my light shines with light from heaven's throne, the precious rock and cornerstone. I've come to set the captives free, wounded with the spear of destiny. I came to save the lost, with no souls for a holy cause, singing as the serpent slave did, so was the Son of Man. Oh, Father, forgive them for piercing your hands.
Wow.
See the son of Jonah fall over the land. God's holy temple was raised again.
Yeah.
As the serpent's lifted, so was the Son of Man.
Awesome, dude. That was really great. I love it when you just stumble upon a gem like that. That's awesome, dude. I was busy that night you sent this or whatever, but I saw that your message was like, hope this blesses your night, dude. This has blessed my night, man. I think you blessed this whole community's night tonight with that one, dude. I could just tell that was really like spiritually led, and it was really awesome too. Like you're totally on key and everything. Like it sounded great, man. Like, I wish that was a real record. We got to get you an album, dude. We got to make an album. That's amazing. And that's just one other reason to say thank you all for being here and getting to enjoy that. That was really awesome to check that out. And Mad Pack says play it again at the end of the show. Here, let me duplicate the tab. And we will roll from here, and we'll have it for later. And we'll play it again on the way out. Yeah, for sure. That was really great, dude. Yeah, just want to say, like, that's the coolest thing ever about this community is, you know, so many people that are like, you know, we're all weirdos. We're all out there, you know, looking into weird stuff and talking about stuff we're not supposed to. And we have our moments where it's like, you know, it's the swear jar, or it's, you know, like, oh, what is that? You know, everybody out here, all the human people out here, like, discovering melted crystal stuff and losing their mind. There's something humbling about hearing like a humble song that is just, you know, about the scripture and about the experience and everything. And it just kind of like, you're reminded how human we all really are. Like, that's really the emotion that I got, was like that, you know, we're in this place and time for a reason, and it's amazing to be here with all of you guys. It's really awesome. And you know, that's I think like just exactly what I was hoping it would be tonight. So thank you, Aaron, for gracing us with that wonderful song. And I noticed that a few of our regulars, a couple more of our regulars have shown up here as well. I thought I saw a couple others. I saw Nuclear, and I saw Sandra Marr, and obviously we got Mad Pax. Mad Pax is the one who suggested that we play the song again at the end. So we'll definitely close on that, my man. I appreciate you taking the time to record that and send it to me. That's awesome. I kind of thought Aaron's mixtape would be an interesting experience, and now I'm even more glad we decided to run it. This is awesome. There are some images that he sent too, but I think that those in particular that he sent are a little edgy. Like, I would totally do it, but I don't want to actually get the channel banned. Some of the stuff is so cutting edge that we literally can't even talk about it on here, and I don't even get monetized. So let's see what we got. Let's see. There's always another one. These things are always so interesting. These videos, like, I don't know. I mean, you can never know what's real and what isn't anymore. You know what I'm saying? But it looks like there's a small series here. Let's check these ones out.
Conspiracies about hidden structures beneath the earth and deep within mountains suggest a shadowy world of secrecy, ancient knowledge, and extraterrestrial connections. Swipe to see the next video. Many believe that mountains like Colorado's Cheyenne Mountain and New Mexico's Archuleta Mesa are more than just natural formations. They're the facades of vast underground facilities.
What? I'm sorry. I had to pause it. What even are those? What? Is it AI? Am I just dumb? Like, am I just, oh, I believe what I see at first glance? What are we looking at? Is this the backdrop for like a Hollywood movie, or like because I know like filmmaking in other countries is really big, but we just never see the fruit of it because we don't watch like Indian movies or Chinese movies, you know what I mean? Like whatever's distributed in parts of the non-English speaking areas that I wouldn't be there to watch. Like maybe there's a movie built it's like a set, and there's like, maybe it's not real. I don't know. That's a weird one, dude.
Swipe to see the next video.
Okay. Swipe to see the next video.
This doorway was found in the mountains of Kazakhstan. Who created such a large entranceway? And could this be a passage to a secret underground layer?
Man.
Swipe to see the next video.
Okay, it's gonna do that every time, because that's what we're getting here. There's a few of them here, but like, dude, that is very interesting looking. You know, we talk about like meltology and stuff. Like this whole outcropping here, this whole area could have once looked very different. But just the fact that there's like this kind of rounded archway door, it kind of looks like a door. It reminds me of that episode where JT and Brian were talking about this, and I think Brian was calling them demon doors. And it's because he's like pretty convinced and reasonably so convinced that demons can like, maybe not demons, maybe fallen angels, maybe demons, I don't know. But they have some kind of power to mess with stone. And I think that's viable. I also think that there's probably technology that exists that allows you to manipulate stone. I mean, we've heard stories about this before, that they can acoustically levitate and even create like a malleability in firm material. Like it's crystalline at the end of the day, so there must be some way to change its like molecular structure. You know, that's how they get those perfectly formed like brick walls and stuff. I'm just spitballing, but maybe. Very interesting. Let's see what the next one is.
Who's accessing this door found on a mountainside?
Okay, I'm just going to pause that one right there, dude. I've seen this thing before. I don't know if this is quite... I don't know if that's quite accurate. I have seen it where there's like a door on the side of a cliff. Continuing.
In China. Can you imagine what's beyond the entrance and how deep into the mountain this goes? What could be the purpose for this entrance, and who left the door wide open? Swipe to see the next video.
Okay, that one's pretty intense, dude. The second part of it where it showed it up close, that was definitely a weird one. What is that? We're gonna watch that one again.
Accessing this door found on a mountainside in China.
When you see it up close.
Can you imagine what's beyond the entrance? And
because the resolution on it is so bad. But look, we have these like giant banded iron, like, dude, it's just so crazy because we live in a time and age where you just don't know if any video is real anymore. And so it's like, dude, who would build something like this? What is that even for? You know, it reminds me of this story, and I think my mom could probably tell it better than me because I wasn't there. But, you know, my mom, my stepdad, some family members were out exploring some of the kind of eastern Washington or eastern Oregon. I can't remember where it was. But, you know, the Northwest is very well known to be weird, whether it's like Sasquatch sightings, cryptids, or like UFOs. The Pacific Northwest is huge for that kind of thing. And they found these like fire lookout towers, you know, in the area. This one particular one had like a roll-up garage door, like really high up off the ground on the side of the tower. It's like, what comes in and out of the garage door on this side of this tower? Like, what is that? I was joking. I was like, oh, the UFO base. It's like an elevator. The UFO comes up and flies out the door. I don't know, but it's stuff like this. Like what comes out of there? It's probably a UFO base, obviously.
How deep into the mountain this goes? All right. These conspiracies often blur the line between myth, paranoia, and truth, fueled by government secrecy, unexplained disappearances, and the allure of the unknown. Swipe to see the next video.
China is such a crazy place, dude. Have you guys noticed how weird that is? And I don't mean the people. I'm not being racist. I'm talking about like geologically. Like what? Why is there a cave with like a shed in it? Or if it's not a shed, it's like a warehouse building. Why is it there? I mean, I get it. Maybe this is somewhere where there might have been war, and there's a lot of borders. China borders a lot of small countries. There's a lot of small countries that used to be independent that are part of China. There's so much to speculate about why that could be there. Like, but it's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see that kind of thing in the United States. Not that I'm experienced with. Definitely strange.
Video. Beneath the mountains and deserts of our world lie secrets that could challenge everything we know about history, power, and human existence. How large and vast can these structures stretch underground? Are there complete cities underneath us?
Man. That just gives you an insight into how large these places can be. You know, I've said for the longest time that I think my greatest conspiracy, my grand conspiracy theory is that we're all on this like farm. And instead of being like an ant farm on a desk somewhere, the whole surface of the earth is like, I don't know, It's like a reverse ant farm. We're on top of the dirt instead of in the ant farm. You know what I mean? Like I said that before. The people farm, the human farm. It's possible that there are massive underground civilizations that really pull the strings on all of us, and our life is like a TV show, like a Truman Show, or like you know, that the world is run by principalities and archons, rulers in heavenly places, and they've got us all organized in some kind of crazy, you know. Anyway, just the vastness of this area is incredible.
Swipe to see the next video.
Hey guys, I've just infiltrated this underground city. People are acting very bizarre. I'm just going to try my best to blend in. There seems to be like some sort of underground club. People are playing like games. This is really strange. I don't think they speak English. They speak some type of different language. There's lots of children here. I'm just going to keep walking. I'm just going to act natural. There's a cross up there which is very bizarre. Anyway, can I have a look what's around this corner right now? There's people just wandering around. It's really strange. Oh shit, this is huge. This is bigger than what I thought. This is crazy. I'm about 10 kilometers deep underground. I didn't think there was anyone.
Okay, I'm not gonna let him keep going because I know he's saying stuff that's not true. He's not 10 kilometers underground. The comment here, the top comment on this video on Instagram says the last video, it's a salt mine in Romania. Relax. Let's just pretend that that's what we're talking about, like that it is. Let's just be honest. What the heck is that? Like, is that really what that is? It's just a salt mine. You know, we like to bore out salt, so we dig giant cavernous mines. I mean, maybe. You know, to each their own. Like, it's like, even if it's not as, yeah, it's like people like, still though, even if it's not an underground city, it's still like, yo, what is that, dude? What is that really? You know, like the giant quarries and stuff. People are like, what is this? You know? Val says, I'm Romanian. Those vampires hide a lot of stuff. The Transylvanian vampires. All right, cool. That was a good little stretch right there. That was a good little collection. Let's go. Let's see what else we got. Let's go. We got some Moon Henry. Let's go.
A bunny rabbit flew into the engine of a plane. Weird things are happening right now. And of course it has to do with planes like usual, but I think this has a very, very deep meaning. Let's see what the news has to say about it real quick.
Oh, this is in mid-flight now, reportedly striking an animal when it took off, probably a bird. Sparks and flames seen coming out of the engine. Not clear what type of animal and or bird, but there are some reports it may have been a rabbit. You buying that? Thankfully, no one was injured.
Why in the world are people alleging, or they getting reports that it was a bunny rabbit? I have a really deep hunch. First off, this is no ill will to the church in any single way. I'm not judging you. But what are the odds a bunny is in the sky and gets in the engine of a plane? Further, right before Easter. Is it possible that the impossible happened on purpose because God is trying to make a point? That maybe he does not want us worshiping rabbits or fertility on the day of his resurrection? And yes, I know TikTokers are going to copy the plot of this video, but at least make it good. So most people know about Easter, but if you don't, the bunny is a symbol of fertility. And the fertility goddess is Ishtar, otherwise known as Inanna.
Which is... shoot. Ishtar and Easter are pretty close to the same word, man. I was like, yeah, I don't know. Why is there a flying rabbit? Like, I was trying to get there. And then when he said Ishtar, I'm like, you mean like Easter?
Is the celebration of Easter, which is a fertility celebration where they would do what I just said. And look, again, I'm not judging any church that does Easter egg hunts and all that stuff. I'm just informing. Because Passover, he truly did rise, and he is risen. And when churches have the Easter baskets, they're not meaning to worship this pagan goddess. But it's just like the wicked of this world to make good bad and bad good. Take evil themes and put them over miraculous, perfect origins. So is that really what happened here? I'm not sure, but I really think so.
The bunny was on the wing of the plane?
Yeah, the bunny was on the plane and was able to sit on the plane almost the whole time. I got it. And the Bible states when the impossible happens, it happens on purpose so we know it was God. Hence a tree coming up in the middle of the desert. But do y'all want to know something way crazier than a tree coming up in the desert? A bunny rabbit.
Okay, wild. Everybody follow Real Moon Henry on Instagram. Interesting plug for sure, my dude. Very interesting. That Easter Ishtar thing is something that I've heard of before, but never really thought about. And yeah, of course, you know, it all ties together, right? There's no accident. Everything happens on purpose. Everything happens for a reason. And it's like, you know, we were just talking about earlier. Everything's fake. Literally, everything is fake. So, oh, I don't know if I can hit that one. Let's see. There's one of these that I was a little worried about showing.
And it stated, "We understand that this change may be disappointing for some, especially those who have cherished these traditions over the years. However, we believe that this decision aligns with our values of inclusivity and respect for diversity."
Well, I think we need to consider that the UK is not legally a Christian country, and it is also an uncodified constitution. And we are moving with the times with everything else, so I guess it's the similar way with this state school.
Yeah, well, respectfully, that's historically and factually untrue. We have an established church in this country. We are legally, factually, constitutionally a Christian country.
Am I the only one who finds this absolutely bonkers? And here's where it gets even more baffling. A group of Christians from a local church turned outside the school to protest this action. Now, these guys, they weren't breaking the law or anything. They were just stood there with signs like Jesus is King and Jesus is the way, the truth and the life. You know, statements of faith. But even they were greeted with unkind reactions from the public. Which to me, and maybe I'm wrong about this, it kind of sounds a lot like double standards here. Let's be inclusive for everyone, but the Christians and their faith. It has made me think though, because I do wonder, if it was another community, or another religion protesting or being silenced on a matter, would there have been a greater uproar? Or would it have even happened in the first place? The answer I really want to know is, why is it always Christians?
And it stated,
he makes a really good point. He makes a really good point. You know, that's Off the Curb Ministries. So shout out to them for that content, obviously. Thank you for making that video for us to react to. I would say that obviously it's not new that Christian institutions and stuff have been under attack by the government. But and in every country. I mean, it's not just the UK. You see that in the United States too. They were like ordering them not to have service during the whole, you know, the 2020 thing, you know, which is totally illegal. I mean, they just really have no authority. But what happens is that they have, you know, there is no religious protections in the United States. I mean, even the Constitution of the United States is, you know, they treat it like how that one gal on the news was talking. They're like, well, you know, technically, la la la. Like, and what ends up happening is there's these people that, you know, they believe that you shouldn't have free speech or the right to keep and bear arms in this country, and they're actively working to eliminate those things. You know, the basic understanding is that the rights that you have exist in the ether. The government doesn't give you the rights. The Constitution doesn't give you the rights. It's just telling you that those are the rights that exist, and so that's the reason we make a government, is to protect the rights. Now, unfortunately, our government does not do that, and we're way too far past the point of holding them accountable. I mean, even just trying to hold them accountable will get you in trouble. So you have to be careful what you say, especially in the United Kingdom. But yeah, it would not be the first time that I've seen Christian institutions come under attack, but the issue I have with it is that I think that they use it to, they make like cultural and societal impacts without actually having an opposition force, because the church in America is not like the real true church. It's more like a country club. I say that a lot. It's very easy when they go to shut down the country club, because it's not like they're trying to shut down a nation. You know, like if some other country said to America, it's time for you to close your doors and do whatever, America would be like, no, and fire bombs at them, because that's what America does. They're their interpretation in this country of Christianity is like just a bunch of little individual like houses of worship with various goals, means, and divisions and denominations. And most of the time that ends up being what it is like people like to hang out with their community and drink coffee and get together and feel good. But they're not really like a nation. There's no unity. There's no authority. There's no dominion there. So when the faith comes under attack, they have no authority to stop it because they don't run the government. They don't run the various police force. And it's all part of this kind of thing I'm getting to in my life, which is kind of like my outlook on the world, which is that Christians should run the world. Because when non-Christians run the world, it makes it a horrible place. But be careful saying that, We'll have to touch more on that one later. The idea of Christians running the earth. But yeah, that's kind of my personal philosophy. Let's see what else we got right here. We've got something here. Check it out. The Christian Illuminati.
Say, well, man, just stop talking about it, or they hope that it goes away. I'm talking about these guys, these pastors who are in these demonic fraternities. But at the beginning of this year, the Holy Spirit made it very clear to me that one of the things that I needed to do was go up against the Christian Illuminati no matter what. That was very clear to me. Some of you guys remember the video. And the reason why is because the Bible says, how can they hear without a preacher? Cry loud, spare not. The Bible says if the watchman stands on the wall and sees the sword coming and doesn't say anything, the blood will be on his hands. And so when I show you guys these clips, it's not to condemn people, to hell. We need to pray for them. They say, well, man, just stop talking about it, or they hope that it goes away. I'm talking about these guys, these pastors who are in these demonic fraternities. But at the beginning of this year, the Holy Spirit made it very clear to me that one of the things that I needed to do was go up against the Christian Illuminati no matter what. That was very clear to me. Some of you guys remember the video. And the reason why is because the Bible says, how can they hear without a preacher? Cry loud, spare not. The Bible says if the watchman stands on the wall and sees the sword coming and doesn't say anything, the blood will be on his hands. And so when I show you guys these clips, it's not to condemn people, to hell. We need to pray for them. They say, well, man, just stop talking about it, or they hope that it goes away. I'm talking about these guys, these pastors who are in these demonic fraternities. But at the beginning of this year, the Holy Spirit made it very clear to me that one of the things that I needed to do was go up against the Christian Illuminati no matter what. That was very clear to me. Okay. Some of you guys remember the video. And the reason why is because the Bible says, how can they hear without a preacher? Cry loud, spare not. The Bible says if the watchman stands on the wall and sees the sword coming and doesn't say anything, the blood will be on.
Is it just repeating? It's just playing in a loop. Okay, I didn't see all what he's talking about, but listen, I don't know who it is, but yeah, I'm sorry, I just let it loop because I was really trying to track what he was saying because he didn't make a lot of sense. I get what he's talking about, but you know how it always is with people. God told me that I have to be the one. The Holy Spirit's revealed to me that I should have money. You know how everybody does. I don't even know this guy. I don't know anything, but it's just I would rather somebody explain something as though they had discovered something terrible and that they should help us to figure it out rather than trying to pedestal themselves as the only hope for resistance against it. And I know, look, as somebody like Lecrae or whatever, I'm not after these people. There's a list of these big, what is it? Mike Todd, Tim Ross, Ruslan, Pastor Jerry Flowers, Alan Parr, Rapzilla, Maverick City Music, and many more. He's talking about a lot of people who says they're in a Christian Illuminati. Yeah, they are. I mean, evidently, it's a giant, corporate money-making ladder, but they don't do anything. You know what I mean? If you were to track down the owners of all of these big televangelist networks and massive mega church organizations and multi-millionaire individuals, what they do is they play a Christian version of the regular beast system. They're like, but we're Christians, as they just do the same thing. They duplicate the music, they multiply the profits, they do the same thing, but they don't care about the commands. They don't care about dominion. That's why their country has abortion legal in it and stuff. That's the fruit. Judge them by their fruit. Have they done billions of dollars in lobbying to eliminate, opposition politicians who believe in killing kids and stuff? What kind of Christians are you? It's fair to say that the industrial corpo Christianity is just as evil as the rest of the beast, if not worse, because they're the same reason that everyone is afraid of Christ and the kingdom, because they have these wrong interpretations of what it is. And I'm sure somebody like Lecrae could show up and like advocate for how nice of a person he is and how, oh, well, I put shoes on homeless people with my millions. Like everybody could come up with like, yeah, but that's not what the kingdom is about. The kingdom is not about like becoming a rich guy. The kingdom is about managing the realm, and no one's doing that at all. You know who's managing the realm is a bunch of Satanists. Just look at every political office in every country and the way they treat Christians, just like we were talking about in the last video. The fact that there's an Easter service at all at church in America is a sign that there's no unity, no order, no dominion whatsoever. It's a free-for-all. Anyone can claim to be a Christian and say whatever they want, which means that there is absolutely no order at all. Anyway, moving on. We'll get to the next one here. Sorry to let that guy go on 3 times, guys. I kind of was spacing on what he was saying. Okay, here we go. Changing gears.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory! No one will honor us for losing gracefully. No one mourns the great crimes committed against us. For us, it is conquer or die. The mainstream media, or perhaps we should refer to them in the original German, Lügenpresse. It's not just that they are leftist and cucks. It's not just that many are genuinely stupid. Indeed, one wonders if these people are people at all.
So if you're ever hearing about any nonsense about being patriotic coming from this crowd, that's crap. The truth of the matter is that's a fascist state.
Tell me about this this idea you have of a white ethno-state within the United States and how you see that working. So it is a kind of post-revolutionary idea. And it would ultimately be a safe haven for all whites around the world. Whether you're Russian or Irish or Italian or Norwegian, this would be a safe place for you. So it would have a kind of Zionist component to it. It would be like Israel as a safe haven for world Jewry. Now, would gays be allowed in this society? Yes. Yeah. I mean, it would be for whites.
Hail Trump!
Okay.
Hail our people!
Okay, I'm not even really sure what to take from that. It's just always something. You know, according to the post from the creator who posted this, they said, do you see how the elite control and divide us? Do you see what they did here? I'll let you put the pieces together on your own. The war is on our mind. I think that what they're implying is that what they do is they set up creators and characters and influencers who are placed in positions of authority and influence, you know, controlled opposition, and they exist in a way to give a bad or a false impression of what a movement or a group of people are, you know, what their intentions are. And because of that, it makes it so that the actual merit of what people are discussing is never actually brought to bear. What is this? I just never know, you know. Like, are we going to cross the line on one of these? Probably. I guess we'll trim it if we have to.
He would bite down on a metal rod attached to his piano while he played. The vibrations from the piano traveled through the rod, into his jawbone, and reached his inner ear. This technique would send sound vibrations directly to the skull, completely skipping the eardrum, allowing him to hear. And by using this method, Beethoven was able to compose music, even when he was deaf. He would bite down on a...
Oh, man. I don't know, dude. It's like one of those things where you don't want to be the guy that, you know, let's imagine there was someone who was pretending to be in a wheelchair. And you were like, he can walk! I know it! And you dump him out of the wheelchair. then he flops to the ground, and it's just like, let's just pretend that's not gonna happen. I think that Beethoven, like many of the classic composers of the last, well, what we'd say the 19th century, the 1800s and such, I think that many of those people are probably not responsible for that music. I think a lot of people would say that those songs, the most famous, what they call the classical masters, are probably pieces of material that existed during the Millennial Kingdom, and then they just were reintroduced to the public in order to give fame, fortune, and notoriety to their own family members and people, just like the founders, just like the oil barons. And it's like Val said, they probably never existed. It's like Shakespeare, right? Like, a lot of people think that Shakespeare was someone who, it just was a creation, just to give a name to a series of collections of works in order to profit. And that's kind of how they've done the whole time. It's like they've been reverse engineering the technology and selling it back to us for decades. That's why there's like 15 iPhones or iPhone 18 or whatever it is, because every year they just make a slightly improved version. Instead of trying to make you a huge technological leap forward, they sell you iteration after iteration of the same junk. And as far as it goes, I mean, if you listen to the pop music of today, you'll find that many pop songs are literally just resampled old songs. There was one I was just listening to earlier, and it was some probably Zoomer artist who's got millions of followers and is so important and everybody likes him, and he's got like a song that's literally like a revitalized version of that Numa song. Like, people just have zero creativity. It's like, of the mainstream today, the creativity is at an all-time low, I can say. And it's unfortunate, but it kind of goes along with, like, you know, Paul's inspiration for his new channel, Understanding Creativity. The same state of modern art, whether it's like fashion runway shows or gallery art, or whether it's music and pop culture, it's all the same pretentious, contrived, actual garbage. And in many ways, it's created by like a staff. Like, you can tell, like, there's one particular band, I won't name their name, but they're very popular, everybody likes them, they're super big, and it's like, I can tell that their music is composed by like a writing team of like 20 people. It just doesn't have the authenticity of like normal classic art, you know? And I think that's kind of the case with this stuff. They create stories like this Beethoven guy being some sort of master composer. He was deaf, but he personally composed. And it's like, maybe, you know, maybe he was like a super kingdom guy and just loved the Lord, and the Lord had embodied him with great talent to write those masters. But I think the more likely experience is that just was somebody's, you know, Freemasonic deaf brother or whatever, and he needed money. So they just lied and said he created all that stuff. And then he went up on stage and flailed his arms around with a stick, and he conducted it. You know, that's literally what happened. Oh, here we go. We're about to hit a hard one, dude. We're about to have a heavy shift into some stuff that's going to freak you guys out. You might have seen some of this before. Remember, all of this has been created by other creators. I'm a bottom feeder. I'm whatever else. Like, somebody called me a bottom feeder once. That's funny. Anyway, I'm about to feed the bottom right here and really disturb myself and all of us.
This is mind-blowing and something to think about. Do you ever think about what happens to the bodies after you leave a funeral procession? Why do I ask? Because there's a viral video that's going around where a guy explains how he allegedly believes, because of the weight of some of the caskets, that there are no bodies in them. So this gentleman right here claims that while he was on his side gig of digging graves, he's seen things that have led him to believe that there are no bodies inside the caskets. So basically, while he was digging a grave, the cemetery director walked over to him and said, "Hey, we need to dig up that grave." So he went ahead and they dug up the casket. Upon digging up the casket, it came up uneven, a little crooked, sideways is what he says, like it didn't have enough weight in it. So after that, the funeral director told him it should be lifted up manually. So they went ahead, they lifted it up manually, and that's when he felt that it wasn't heavy enough, and he said to himself, "I don't think there's a body inside this." So he basically asked, "Why is this casket so light?" The funeral director turned to him and said, "Don't ask questions that you're not ready for." One thing I want you to think about now that this story has come to light, and you never thought about it, I never thought about it, there are 144,000 cemeteries across the U.S. as of 2025. One question you should be asking is, when was the last time you seen them build a new cemetery? So of course, I went and did some digging. Why haven't you seen new cemeteries being built? Here is what came up when I searched for it. Land availability. They are building like crazy all over the United States. Therefore, where are you going to put cemeteries? Increased land costs, but funerals cost an arm and a leg. Excuse the pun. Environmental concerns, alternate burial options, and grave recycling. You heard what I said. Grave recycling. There is a such thing. In some cases, cemeteries are expanding their capacity by reusing burial spaces through a practice called grave recycling. So the question remains, with so many people across the United States, people pass away every day, every minute. What's going on with the bodies? Where are they going? Are you thinking about this? Is it something that I've never thought about this until I listened to that viral video, and I'm starting to say, Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, I just thought about something that I was like, well, maybe everybody's getting cremated. And then I'm like, that's just what they tell you. They just give you a pile of ash. You have no way of knowing if that's your relative, dude. There's no way to know if that's your relative, dude. It's just ash. Oh no, this makes me think of the KFC commercial, dude, where they bring the guy out. You guys know it. You've seen it, right? Believe in chicken. Oh my God. Yeah, Mad Pax is on. He's like KFC. Oh boy. You know, here was my thought, right? I had this conversation with my dad, and I was like, do you think that it's actually... But then I was like, how are you turning people into chicken? You can't. I mean, maybe you can. Maybe there's science behind it. But look, we don't know that. But what if they're feeding the people to the chickens, and then we're eating the chickens? You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about something ritualistic, right? You know how they talked about back in the day that you'd see those Foster Farms commercials, and there would be that one, like, floppy-looking chicken, and he's like, we're corn-fed. And they're like, no, only Foster Farms chicken are corn-fed or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right? Tell me you guys have seen that. I'm going to try to pull it up right now. I'm going to pull it up really quick. Well, no, I don't think that's going to work. Well, maybe it will. Hold on. Let me try this really quick. Let me see if I can just pull it up. I'll probably get copyright for that one, but all right, I don't see it, dude. They literally, it doesn't exist. Oh.
We'll be woohoo! Yeah! West Coast, here we come! We'll be Foster Farms chickens in no time! Woohoo! So long, suckers!
That was pretty good, actually. What is this?
Go! 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 Hey!
Okay. I see. They're just, these chickens are run ragged. California. They've got the music cut out because they don't want to. Whoever uploaded this didn't want.
We're here, 2 fresh Foster Farms chickens. Yeah, oof. Awkward.
Foster Farms fresh chicken. Always natural, always fresh.
Okay. Foster Farms chicken. Always natural, always fresh. Anyway, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Maybe they're doing something with the bodies. It's just like, nobody wants to think about that. It's just like, look, if the chickens are being fed people and you eat the chickens, that ain't good, bro. That's like along the same lines as the reasoning for why we're like, we need grass-fed beef. Because they're trying to like get the grain out of the beef because they think that the grain is making you sick. That like if you're sensitive to grain or Roundup or whatever other genetically modified plants are being fed to the animals, it's messing with the animals. And then you're eating the animals, right? So we might just be mass participating in some kind of horrific human consumption via chain chicken recipe Like, the Colonel's secret recipe, dude? A secret blend of herbs and spices? What are they? They're always natural. They're always fresh. That's terrible. That's horrible. The bodies are fresh. Oh, man, dude, I don't even know. I don't even know what to think about that. Look, I know that at the end of the day, like, the Lord is like, he's in charge. So if you're eating chicken from KFC and you're like, Lord, thank you for this food that you've provided. May it nourish and strengthen me. I pray against the will of the devil. May this be, because it's like we should probably just be able to like light feed or something, but that's not the point. The point is like we got to eat. Guys got to eat. I know. And I tend to think that, the Lord can bless anything. There's all sorts of talks in the Bible about food offered up to idols and poison and all kinds of stuff. And it even comes down to stuff like being like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, like in the furnace. Like, you can literally be subjected to anything in the world. If you trust God enough, it's not going to get you. It's like walking on water, moving mountains. Enough faith, and faith in what? For me, I always just assume that the Lord has a plan for me to use me for something. So I just say, well, if I die, I'm not going to be able to do it. So I just trust the Lord. Like, if I'm killed in a car wreck, I ain't doing anything else but dying in the wreck. So that's, if you have a purpose for me, Lord, I have to assume you'll preserve me for that end, right? That's why we're all still here today. He has something else for you to learn, something else for you to develop, something else for you to accomplish. So I think about it like that, right? Like, you would not be here if you were going to be executed. Like, if the Lord wanted you gone, you'd be gone. So, let's see what else we got here. Oh boy, it continues. It gets bigger. This is crazy. All right, here we go.
Listen, it's no secret that the government always approves of some new way to poison us, but liquefying bodies and potentially putting them back into the drinking supply is a whole new level of ick. It's called alkaline hydrolysis, and it is water cremation, being coined as the new, cleaner, greener, and eco-friendly way to dispose of your loved ones. But here's what really happens. A body is placed inside of a steel vat with chemicals, typically potassium hydroxide, where it is heated under a high temperature, which liquefies the body. All that's left is the bones, which are then ground up and give back to the family as ashes. The rest is flushed down the drain. That liquefied human goes through the wastewater treatment, then gets recycled back into the municipal water supply. The same water supply that comes out of your tap if you're on city water. Now they advertise this as biologically sterile, but here's what can survive. Prions, they're tiny misfolded proteins typically found in the brain. Mad cow disease, heat-resistant pathogens like hepatitis A, pharmaceutical residues like chemotherapy, antidepressants and hormones, heavy metals like those nice mercury fillings, lead and arsenic, synthetic materials from implants or medical devices. Standard treatment doesn't eliminate those things. We are not just talking about contamination here. As if it's not gross enough, people flush their pharmaceuticals, their aborted babies, and everybody's shit goes down it. Now we're adding liquefied human remains. Let's call it what it is. Ritualistic, state-approved cannibalism. Most of you don't even know you're consuming trace amounts of the dead. This is not just disrespectful. It's a spiritual, ethical, and biological violation. All in the name of sustainability. And newsflash, it's legal in 28 states. Listen, it's no secret that the government always approves of some new way to poison us, but liquefying bodies and potentially putting them back into the drinking supply is a whole new level of ick. It's called alkaline hydrolysis, and it is...
Okay. Oh my gosh. I sometimes wish this was not the way things are. Like, try not to believe everything you see on TV, right? Oh man, I didn't want to go here, dude, but this is the cutting edge, right? That's what you get. You're gonna be talking about the craziest crap out here, dude. That's what we're here to do, bro. I don't know, man. I mean, what she's saying is basically like, it's unavoidable. What I mean is, it's like, this is not even speculation. Effectively, what she's saying, if this is truly taking place, it's happening, man. Now, I know that if you really break it down, Everybody is made of the same kind of base molecular structure. Everybody is comprised of the same natural ingredients, and you kind of become the dirt again when you die. You like, and look, there are rivers all over the world where there's like a dead moose floating in it, and it's like, you know, running down the stream. And there's so many instances of like somewhere upriver there's something toxic. That's why we have water treatment facilities. We use chemicals and separators and filters, etc. I mean, that's what we're told. But I mean, I guess all I could say is that I wouldn't, I can't say anything that would be like that is if you were to acknowledge this as being the truth. I would just say that be careful where you get your food and water from. That's the advice. And pray. That's really all you've got. Cage Fighter's right. Yeah, pray over everything. That's crazy, dude. I'm sure no one will be eating for the next 48 hours. I got a pretty strong stomach, if I'm being totally honest. Like I can pretty much say, oh, this is interesting. So this is a photo. This is a series of photos. This is actually really cool. Check this out. Let me move it a little bit so we can see it better. Just try to get a better look at this. What I will do is I will drag it up so that it sits in front for a second. I mean, maybe chat can be in front of that, but oh, that's not good. Okay. Whatever, dude. Whatever. All right. Let's move it over a little bit more so you guys can see this. All right, this is pretty interesting. So, based on these pictures, you have this Dutch pyramid right here. And then there's this naturally occurring, whatever that is, New Mexico or something. And then there's this right here, butter melting in a pan, and there's a cube of land with a interesting looking area surrounding it. That, like, to me is that's pretty cool. That's meltology. Oh, cool. We get the close-ups of it. I wish we could see this from farther away. Like, this is like the worst cropped photo I've ever seen. But, you know, we're not exactly... We're bottom feeding right now. This is compelling, though, man. Look at the layers that pouring out from the center of this mass of land. Very interesting. Oh, there we go. There's a much better look of it. So this is like a still preserved old monument of some kind, quite large. This is a top view of pyramid. Huh. Interesting. I'm not really sure what exactly we're looking at. I'm not sure what we're trying to be looking at here. Although I guess you could argue that it looks like it's missing something that was supposed to be on top. And like, I guess in this instance, there is something on top, an obelisk, which is no longer there. Very interesting. Let's see about sliding this back over here and see if we can't. I'm like actively messing with the overlays as I'm on the chat here. That's wild. This has been one of the most interesting setups. I didn't think I was going to have so much luck with it, but so far so good, right? Oh, shoot. Every time, Aaron, every time I pull up another one, it's like, oh, man, what's next?
Everyone said you look like Francis, or Francis looked like you. Because
he
you
looked
were
like
famous
me.
first.
Yeah,
you were
I was
famous
famous
first. Yeah. Because here's you, in case people don't know what you look like from seeing you there. And here's Francis. Come on. Okay. No. Obviously, you moisturize and he doesn't, you know. But that's
no, it's a big surprise because that's not who I see when I look in the mirror.
Everyone said you look like Francis.
Yeah. The problem with it is not that they don't look identical. Maybe makeup, maybe costume. But what's more likely the case is that they're related to each other. Wendy says that actor was in Game of Thrones as a religious figure. Does anybody know the name of that guy? So we could pull up his like profile and maybe look at his early life section. I mean, oh my gosh. It's just so terrifying because it's not, look, here's high level conspiracy, right? It's the same guy and they told us. That's why they put it on the Colbert Report, because that's what they do. They tell you everything they're doing. Maybe the top comment on here says, guys, he's not even dead, which is another thing. That's usually what I go for, is that when famous people die, they're not. They're just cycling out new characters. But even without any crazy conspiratorial speculation, it stands to reason that these people are all related to each other, right? Wendy says he's the High Sparrow. Give me 1 sec here. Let me see if I can pull that up. Oh, I need to be on the other window here. Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. The High Sparrow. The leader of a religious sect known as the Sparrows, newly appointed High Septon. Under his tenure as High Septon, the faith militant was reestablished, and the faith amasses considerable influence over the Iron Throne during the reign of King Tommen I. This is just lore from Game of Thrones, but... so who is he? Played by... Jonathan Pryce. Well, I mean, it is interesting that you would have a guy like this then play a religious figure in the movie, and he just so happens to look like the Pope, and maybe it's not that he is the Pope himself, but maybe he's the Pope's brother, and so they have him play the religious guy in the film. Wendy says he tortured people that were in sin. Nobody seems to like that guy. He's an arsehole. That's so funny. That's so funny. That is wild, dude. I don't even know what to think about anything anymore. What can you believe about the world? All right, we're going to try one that has some words in it that are a little bit dicey. This could be it, guys. It's been real.
Well, apparently the rapture is now anti-Semitic. Well, that's according to this article right here from Israel 365, The Secret Rapture in Israel, where they go on to claim how the Jews are excluded from this rapture. Yeah, unbelieving Jews, just like unbelieving Gentiles. And as we can see right here, this rhetoric is very concerning, that this part of the teaching is anti-Semitic for the secret rapture. Now, before I move on and talk about how dangerous this rhetoric is and how I believe this is going to be used during the tribulation to persecute the tribulation saints, I want to talk about how the rapture is not a secret. Now, we can go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51 and see how the rapture is not a secret anymore. It was a mystery in the Old Testament that has been revealed to Paul. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Now, this word right here, mystery, is mysterion in the Greek, which means a hidden thing, a secret, a mystery. So you could actually retranslate this or read verse 51 as, behold, I tell you a secret. Now, this article was full of fallacies and lazy arguments like this one right here. The word rapture is actually not in the Bible, but it actually is. The word rapture comes from the Latin translation of harpazo, which means to be caught up. As we can see, harpazoed in the Greek means to seize, carry off by force, to snatch out or away. And the Latin translation of the Greek word harpazo is rapto or rapturo, which is where we get the word rapture, which we can see in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 17. Then we who are alive and remain shall be raptured.
Okay. I think that this is a very, very dangerous topic to break into, right? It seems like this is a rabbit hole. We're not here to have a giant talk about the rapture, but I think that Alpha Talks has an incredible study on the rapture. Let me see. We might be able to even just find that really quick. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll throw a link in the description for those of you guys who are interested. I swear he has a video about the rapture. If he doesn't have a whole video about it, he discusses it in one of his videos. Of course, it didn't pull up anything when I... Can I search his thing for... He does have a video called "Did Armageddon Already Happen?" which is probably like the closest thing he'll probably even talk about. I know that on Paul's podcast, Understanding Conspiracy, he did at one point come on there and talk about the rapture and the actual Latin translation stuff. I know this community is actually like really well aware of the fact that Jesus kept his word and that like a lot of the events of the Bible have already taken place, and that's not even like, it's not like a preterism thing, it's just that Jesus is the guy, so you either trust him or you don't. So there's not too much to say about it. I mean, there's not a lot to say about it in that regard. But yeah, rapture thing, that's a dicey thing. A lot of people believe that they're gonna one day be like absorbed into the heavens and face no tribulation or whatever, and there's a lot of, you know, really confused and messed up doctrines where people have taken like single lines of scripture and then kind of turned it into a whole belief system. And that's unfortunately, that's kind of a pervasive thing that happens in the church community in the modern age. Aaron said, create the doctrine, then twist it. He says, enough with the rapture. Still beating their old drum. More deception will be coming, especially in light of the little season awakening. Amen, Aaron. I don't think I could have said it better myself, my man. That is basically... This is actually a great meme right here. It says, we'll force them to use solar power, then we'll block out the sun. Oh, shoot, we got more. It like just went... Oh, okay. It's actually a video. It's like a flash between the two. Did you fall for it? They look to dim the sun to counter runaway climate change. You know, Paul was just discussing this the other day, that for many years, if you even brought up the, what do we call them, skylines that they draw in the sky with airplanes, if you even brought it up, he'd be like, banned outright. That is moronic. You are insane. And then like just a few months ago, I mean, it's not a secret, it's been going on since the 60s, then they had published data about it, but geoengineering using airborne aerosolized chemicals and stuff, like they just announced it, it's in Popular Science or whatever, and it's like, so you were a crackpot until you were right. Somebody needs to make a website of all the pending conspiracy theories and all the ones that were true as like a check mark. Like, what is the scoreboard for the popular conspiracies being true? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of them that are like actually vindicated that you could say, and you start to get points. You know what I mean? You start to be like, dude, we were right about this, and that. Yeah, we got a couple of things wrong here and there. Maybe we were misled by controlled opposition on our way to waking up. It's not like the second you open your eyes, you're ready to do like Fruit Ninja. Like, give yourself some time to get up, maybe have some coffee, maybe have a shower. Well, waking up is a process. Like, it takes time. But evidently, people got onto this like weird, non-natural lines being kept in the sky, the skyline, so to speak. And they were like, dude, what's going on with this? They did their research. They found the government research documents and they published the information, the findings. And all that happened was the media and the government said, you're crazy, you're a liar. Like, we've got to get to the point where that's not the thing. When they call you an ism, an ist, you just need to be like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's the whole motif of this thing, that like if you started talking about weird religious shit, they're going to say you're in a cult. So we just called it the cult of Khan so that they could say it's a cult all they want. I don't care. Thanks for the free advertising. All right. Crazy, man. Crazy. It's crazy how far we've come. Is this one playable? Some of them expire. That's the downside about it, is some of these reels will be divided.
Prosthetics, it's a light, sort of very light latex, which is a false lid. I'd hate that. They're actually, they're quite comfortable. And the great thing about them, no acting required once you've got those on. You just stand there and it all happens. Slip into the room. Yeah. Prosthetics, it's...
Okay, so this guy's basically, this is another character who, according to Cindy here, says he's been playing the Pope since 2016. Wake up, people. The Great Awakening is coming. Hey, that's the classic one, right? That's like the psyop of our generation. It's the Great Awakening. Trump is gonna save the world with QAnon, and we'll get free money through Jasara. That's one of my favorites, I think. That's one of my favorite ones, the whole Jasara. That everything is gonna be fine. Yeah, all the problems will resolve themselves shortly. Don't you worry, your pretty little head. Check it out.
As the book of Samuel says in the Bible, Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker. The eternity of Israel will not falter.
It is the same Bible that tells us in the stories of the Old Testament, much which has guided many people across this world. But when we turn from the Old Testament to the New Testament, it is Romans that says to us, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, not any country, not any human being. So that the Bible can't be used as a convenient aid when it suits us and rejected when it doesn't. Mr. President, above all else, we need a global reset on peace. There needs to be global peace.
I mean, I know that there's probably more to be said about this, but like, I literally feel like this character is not who they claim to be. It's like, we need a referendum on peace. We need a global reset, my friend. It's like, I feel like I can see 5 o'clock shadow.
And those of us who are old enough would have recognized that there are peaks and valleys as it relates to this issue of conflict. There are few areas where the world is more in need of the United Nations acting as the United Nations to secure the objectives of the Charter than in the area of peace and security.
Yeah, I know. As a book, I might be mistaken. That's not our United Nations representative, but I had an episode about this once where I talked about the United States representative to the United Nations, and there's a photo of them that they published of a Minotaur. I don't know what episode that was. Somewhere in the last, 25 episodes, there was some kind of a Minotaur. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but there was, like, the news published it, like a photo of the representative, and they had like a freaking Baphomet head. It was very weird. Let's see what this is. A tower that, I don't know. This is a grab bag, guys. This is Aaron's mixtape.
Hello.
Oh.
Welcome to what I'm sure you've assumed is an episode of Bad Design. Dubai is planning on building this $9 billion skyscraper that will be gold-plated and diamond-encrusted. For reasons, it has already been dubbed the Tower of Pleasure. And yeah, each square inch will be meticulously adorned with diamonds and gold leaf. Now, supposedly this was modeled after the way that wind goes over the dunes in the desert. Sure. But the tower will also vibrate.
This is
because
gotta...
of the winds.
That has to be...
Desert.
No.
That's right. This will be a vibrating tower. I'll tell you, though. If they're selling models in the gift shop, I would love to get my hands on one.
Oh, come on.
I say hands.
Oh, Lord. This person says, as an architect, I want to suggest that if they're selling models in the gift shop, that they put a flared base on them. They should put a water fountain at the top. Man, you guys. That's rough, man. Look at the thing. Look at that thing. I bet you that'll never come to fruition. That's like one of those that's just one of those things that they do. You know what I'm saying? That is just one of those things. You cannot trust the authenticity of that one. Man, we're doing good. We got so many. There'll be a chance probably to do another episode of this in the future, dude. We got such an awesome pile from Aaron. Thanks, man. I appreciate you doing this. Let's see. One that just goes around your head is called a circlet. It's a different thing. So yeah, a crown is like a whole headpiece. That's where like you'll hear like when you get a crown on your tooth, it's a whole top. It's not just a ring. Anyway, it's about language. Language matters. It's interesting how the Bible is like a thing. It's like when we're talking, I always talk about this about Jesus when he talks about, he's telling his disciples that, you know, there are some standing here today who will not taste death before they see the coming of the Son of Man and his kingdom and his glory. And he talks about how the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And I always say, like, he knows how to speak. He knows what words to use to describe what he means. It's like the Bible, when it uses the word crown, it's talking about something like that, something crazy. And that's actually a really great representation of how terrible it must have been. Poor guy. He died for your sins. He went through that for you. Keep that in mind.
UK. They look like this. Yes. They cover your whole head. Huh. This is...
Wow. That's intense, man. That is super intense. I like that they have this whole, this like representation that they can use to really make it make sense. Like to see, obviously that's not the crown of thorns. Although I know that recently they put out this thing saying they had all these artifacts and stuff. I don't know if the crown of thorn, like the original crown, I don't know if that's actually included in that collection, but let's see. We got another one here.
This is banned because I can be on floor 3 or the 38th floor and still have my letters end up in this 100-year-old mailbox in the lobby. Patented by James Gould Cutler in 1883, mail chutes collected letters from the upper floors of the skyscraper into a central letterbox in the lobby. Picked up by the U.S. Postal Service, this is one of the remaining few skyscrapers with active mail chutes. This is banned because I can be on floor 3
Oh, that's interesting. Just a mail chute? That's just a very ornate looking piece. You guys saw that, right? That was wild. It's a little interesting piece right there. Yeah, that was definitely some old world tech. All right. I've seen this picture on the internet for years. We're about to see something circulate. Again, fair use. Don't quote me on it.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
There's just so many.
Follow me. Let me tell you why you're here.
There's so much
You're
going
here
on
because
here.
you know something.
There's literally so much going on here. I feel like there's just a bunch of images flashing and a bunch of stuff happening all at once. Like, I'm sorry. I'm pretty good at keeping track of stuff, but like tap/hold screen to pause and read. I don't have time to pause it. Oh, actually, this one's pretty crazy. This is great. This is just a collection. This person created just like a flashing collection of tons of stuff all at once. But look at this. That's crazy. SpongeBob's address is Little St. James Island. I knew about this, the Nicolo Dio, but it's D-I-O, like Ronnie James Dio, because that means God. Anyway, it's not I don't care about God, it's I don't believe in God, I think is what it means. But anyway, look at how the Nickelodeon is the Little St. James Island. I did not know that, dude. It is actually the same shape as it. Look. It has this little where there's an island offshoot at the end of the bubble here where it kind of like comes out and branches like over and then to the right. And then you have 1, 2, 3 on the other 1, 2, 3. That is crazy. Very coincidental, very strange. I mean, you just don't know what to think about that. That one I'm going to let go. This person says the movie Dark Crystal is actually a documentary. So is They Live / Soylent Green playing out in real time. They hide the truth in the movies and invert everything. The intent to fraud is revealed worldwide, making all fraudulent contracts null and void. They're talking about birth certificate stuff. They're like claiming that they revoke their birth certificate and all this. I don't know. I don't care. But I will say that that Nickelodeon Epstein Island thing that's crazy, bro. I never seen anything like that. And since we've been talking about all this, like the cannibalism thing just seems to be a repeating theme tonight. Like maybe we should have called this, you know, you could believe in chicken or something. I don't know. All right, this is another interesting one called Discovering the Underground Satanic Temple in Boston, USA. Let's go. I'm going to mute that so that we don't have a copyright issue with the Hunt Showdown soundtrack. It's funny how I knew exactly what that was within like seconds. Oh man, would you crawl down there? I don't know, bro. What? That's like a chimney. Holy moly, dude. Ancient infrastructure. Look at that. How could you not, like, how, you can't fake this. You know, I mean, even if you found something out, you could not fake this scenery, this iconography, this facility. I mean, I don't know where they are. I mean, I guess you could maybe be in a brick building with the lights turned off, but like, what about all these tunnels? I mean, some of this is like, well, I don't know. That's pretty ornate for like, what is that, a statue? Wow. Man, that's actually like really creepy, to be honest. These like, yeah, those like statues that were like just closed, frozen in time. That was super wild, dude. Super crazy. Maybe that was the Satanic Temple underground. Who knows? All right, here we go. We got another one. There's been a lot of talk about the bodies and where they're all going. Let's see. Oh, we're muted.
Review. They want to do is take out the neural functions. It's a human without feeling, without thinking, without ideas. It's just what MIT calls in this review a spare body, a spare tire, bodyoids.
MIT scientists want to grow human bodies dubbed bodyoids. Now, these bodyoids are physiologically identical to humans, yet scientists insist that they are not conscious and they can feel no pain. Scientists are stating that ethically sourced spare bodies could revolutionize medicine through things like organ donation. These bodyoids are not only intended to provide medical miracles, they can be used as meat for consumption.
All right, so here's the article. So MIT Technological Review, it's ethically sourced spare human bodies could revolutionize medicine. Human bodyoids. So remember that word. And here it says, recent advances in biotechnology now provides a pathway to produce living human bodies without the neural components that allow us to think, be aware, or feel pain. And then maybe one day we'll be able to create spare bodies.
Are bodyoids similar to body yachties?
If they could get these cordyceps to control this, I'm sure you can see some body yachties. Reading this past week, an MIT...
Okay. Bodyoids? My gosh. You can't make this up. Here's what I think. Bodyoids, that's probably been going on for a long time. Y'all ever heard of Greys? You know, people think that the Greys are like the equivalent of avatars for the demons, disembodied souls of the Nephilim, and that they embody these flesh machines, you know, and that the gray alien is, I guess, the type of body that they want to inhabit. Like, it has the right features to be able to inhabit their like dimensional soul or whatever. That's why they have to have weird big heads and stuff. I don't know. I don't know why they have big black eyes and big heads in the lore. But it's widely believed that there's an effort by the elites to either prolong their life or to, you know, re-avatar, re-inhabit a new body, or build, you know, grow spare organs. It's all very, it's like that God playing really dark science that, you know, you just see so often in this like investigation into the, you know, deep state and the satanic archons that run everything. They're human followers and they're potentially non-human followers that just disguise themselves. So, all right, here's one. See the look of horror on the guy's face when he quickly cuts the recording. I guess someone said something they shouldn't have said.
Readout. You have to have a certain number of incident cases in the control vaccine population. And that
okay, hold on. I can't talk about this. Sorry. I'm sorry. We probably wanted to know what that one was, but I realized what he's talking about, and I can't put it on. I hate that, but they would literally just ban you for it. I didn't even... Yeah, so I don't know. Let's see. Super Friends.
The Legion of Doom is about to begin its reign of terror.
Okay.
We could all go with the bus company's special Super Sitter fare. $9? This one's on Nick.
Let's hope Osama bin Laden doesn't know show tunes. God, I hope I get it. I hope I get it.
Wait and see! Oh, you're stupid!
Well, you're stupider!
No, you're...
Coming soon. Okay, the audio is incredibly loud. Oh my gosh. A lot of these, it's saying down here when these aired, like 1994 and stuff. So this is all supposed to have taken place before 9/11. Even that Family Guy episode, does Family Guy exist before 9/11? When did it premiere? 1999, dude. That's so messed up. That means that they did know that was going to happen. That's crazy, bro. Not chill. That is not chill. Let's see if we can get through the rest of these images here. Iron Man 94. No. He just crashes into the Pentagon. That is just blatant. They're not even trying to hide what they're doing. Look at them. Look, both towers devastated. They melted. Dude. How much of it? How much, dude? How could there be so much predictive programming? Like, I mean, it seems like that's when it started, right? Like right at the end of the 90s, like that's when the end of the world began. You know, my brother and I were talking about this earlier. South Park. You guys have seen the show South Park or heard of it, I'm sure. South Park, when did that first air date was? 1997. So it's been out for a long time. And South Park has always done a really good job of kind of tracking the events of the modern age, so to speak. You guys know all about it. And what's so crazy about it is, you know, they make jokes about everything. You know, on like a weekly basis, there would be something that came out in the news or viral video or something. Over the last 20 years, every viral story that there's been, they made an episode making jokes about it, just laughing at the state of the world, commentary about humanity, commentary about the modern Western experience. And many of the things that have happened over the last 25 years have been totally memory hold. Nobody talks about it. Nobody remembers remembers that these things took place. And I have considered buying the entire DVD collection of South Park to watch it from start to finish, to take notes and get all of the memory hole stuff that they're talking about that we all forgot about, because they made jokes about all of it, and then the news stopped talking about it, and these stories just became a thing of the past, and we moved on to the next best thing, the next current thing, right? And these episodes have like a record of it, almost like they were keeping a record of the downfall of civilization. And now look at where we are. I mean, if you look at where we were in 97, most of you people are old enough to remember. I was only a little kid, but I remember 9/11, and I remember the turn of the millennium and the way that the world shifted. And I think that many of you guys are probably older than me and remember that too. And so I think that this has something to do with the 9/11, the Y2K. It was like they shifted gears and started us on a final path. You know, people talk about Agenda 25 or Agenda 2030 or whatever they are. And we don't know what of that is true. But it seems like if you look at the evidence and you weigh it, you find out that it might be more realistic than we thought initially, that there might actually be something to it. It's very crazy. Wow. There's that guy. I guess we'll close on this one. This one's pretty good right here.
Is here, and Jesus is here, and that's whom we reserve the right to believe in. And so we don't want to pledge allegiance to earthly kings, false kings from the devil.
Yeah.
Because we believe that if we do pledge allegiance to one of these kings or prime ministers or presidents, then we're actually pledging allegiance to the person who appointed them, right?
Yeah.
So we can't do the will of Satan by pledging allegiance to these demons and, you know, recognizing their countries. We just can't do that.
That sounds like what I think. That's what I think. I would love to find out more about this, because you know what they're doing, right? It's called controlled opposition. They know we've reached a stage in history where people are going to start actually believing the words of Jesus. They're going to start asking, wait a minute, what am I supposed to do now? If I believe in Jesus and I accept him and I become a member of this kingdom, now what? And it's like, it's as simple as this. I'll give you the basic line of it. If you got hired at a place like McDonald's and your job was to pull the machine lever and fill up the McFlurries, okay? You are the McFlurry filler. You work at McDonald's, you have been assigned McFlurry machine, okay? If your boss comes up to you tomorrow or a week from now after you've been pulling McFlurry and they say, go mop the floor, has your job become mop the floor? Or has your job become McFlurry and floor mop? Okay? So when we look at the scripture and we look at the history and we go back at the commandments, the different things that God and Jesus have told us to do over the course of scripture, if you trace it back, you've got the commandments to love God with all of your heart, soul, and strength. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness. Love one another. Care for the widows, the elders, the orphans. You know, there's a lot of commandments. The 10 commandments, right? Thou shalt not commit murder. Thou shalt not steal. Honor your father and mother. Thou shalt have no gods before me. There's so many items, and yet we forget the very first one that God ever gave to humanity. He made mankind, and he said, go forth and have dominion. Subdue the earth and have dominion over all the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, and over every living thing that moves on the ground. And we're always taught to believe it, that the scripture is telling you things that move on the ground, like bugs, because bugs move around on the ground. No, he says air, sea, and land. He doesn't say birds, fish, and bugs. He says birds of the air, because what's in the air? Birds. Fish of the sea, because what's in the sea? Fish. And what is on the ground? Stuff that moves on it, including people. And that is the original commandment that God gave to mankind, and people have forgotten that completely. So, in a way, this guy's right. Like, we shouldn't be pledging allegiance to the governments of men, because we should be pledging allegiance to the government of God. And what does the government of God look like? Subduing and dominion. Well, there's no subduing and there's no dominion right now, as we discussed earlier, where the church just like makes money and sells records. They're not dominating anything except for maybe last year's profit margin. But yeah, it's crazy times we're living in, guys. Crazy times we're living in. Man, this has been a good episode. Thank you, Aaron, for providing tonight's mixtape. Thank you for sending all those, tagging me in all those crazy reels. It was really a lot of fun to review all that. I cannot believe 2 hours is over already. Guys, it's been a lot of fun scraping the bottom of the barrel with you guys. I don't think there's anything wrong with reacting. I know that if I don't try to guide myself, I'll end up getting all infuriated, and you'll see me like with a podium yelling, and I'll be like, we must take dominion over all government institutions. It's like, hey, I'll start getting all unhinged. I'll sound like that guy, that cult guy. So wild times, guys. But hey, the Wednesday night show, I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are having a great Wednesday. We're that much closer to Friday, the hump day show. We're almost there. I hope you guys are hanging in there with me. It's been a lot of fun joining you guys tonight for this one. And instead of the usual outro, we're going to appreciate one more time. Thank you, Aaron, for gracing us with this lovely performance. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you for participating. We'll give you guys the honorary, customary, you know what it is. We'll go ahead and give you one. Thank you guys so much for being here. And with all that being said, you guys are great. We will see you back next week for another episode of the Main Character Podcast, another level. And all that is made possible by you guys, the Cult of Con. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you all next week. Okay, hold on. We will see you all. Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on. We will see you all next week. Take care, everybody.
Come and follow me from the Sea of Galilee to the poor and least of these. Prophet spoke of me, a king rides sitting on a donkey. No one has seen this humility. I've come from the Father's own right hand, the spotless Lamb. I am who I am, the way, the truth, the life. Then just so with my sacrifice, singing as the serpent slave did, so was the Son of Man. Oh, Father, forgive them for piercing your hands. See the son of Jonah fall over the land. God's holy temple is raised again. Faith like mustard seeds, you know you must believe in me. Rejected by my own, my light shines with light from heaven's throne, the precious rock and cornerstone. I've come to set the captives free, wounded with the spear of destiny. I came to save the lost, with no souls for a holy cause, singing as the serpent slave did, so was the Son of Man. Oh, Father, forgive them for piercing your hands. Da, 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 da. See the son of Jonah fall over the land. God's holy temple was raised again. the Son of Man.